Okay, let's talk about three huge opportunities for building wealth that are happening right now. I'm talking content, AI, and crypto. And look, if you're someone who feels like you're always missing the boat on the next big thing, then you're exactly who this is for.
I mean, have you ever had that feeling? That sinking feeling when you show up to the party and it's already in full swing? Or you get to the train station just to watch the train pull away without you? It's that feeling of having missed out. And honestly, when it comes to creating wealth, I think a lot of us feel exactly like that.
All right, so here's the game plan. First up, we're going to tackle that big question, is it really too late? Then we'll break down the three big tracks, content, AI, and crypto. After that, we'll get into the scary part, the triple threat, and wrap up with why this whole thing is a race against time.
So let's just get right into it. The big question. Are you too late? And the short answer is no. But, and this is a big but, you might be late, just not too late. The thing is, that window is closing, and it's closing fast. Every single day you wait, the cost of just sitting on the sidelines goes up. This really gets to the heart of the paradox we're all living in, right? On one hand, it's never, ever been easier to get started. We have tools and leverage our parents could only dream of. But at the same time, it feels so much harder, doesn't it? And that's because the pace of everything is just insane. We have less time to react than ever before. Stuff that used to take decades to change is now shifting in a matter of months.
Okay, let's jump into track 1, content creation. And to show you what's possible, we're going to look at a real-life success story, a story about someone who was incredibly late to the game, and you'll see the results were, well, they were pretty staggering.
Just look at this timeline for a second. The YouTube channel was started way back in 2007. Can you believe that? But it wasn't until 2021, that's 14 years later, that he even found out YouTube pays for content. And even then, even after finding out, he waited a few more months before finally hitting that monetization button in early 2022. I mean, if that's not the definition of a latecomer, I don't know what is.
So what happened when he finally flipped that switch? Well, in April of 2022, his very first payment for ad revenue showed up, and it was $1,570. You know, not too shabby for clicking a button he could have clicked years, even a decade earlier. But that was just the very beginning.
Get this, the very next month, it wasn't a small jump. It went up by 10 times, $15,000. It's just a perfect example of compounding, right? All that content was already there, the audience was there and growing, and boom, the value was unlocked all at once.
And where is it at today? Well, the average month is now bringing in around $55,000. Think about that. That's from being 15 years late to the party. So the big takeaway here is that consistent content, it builds a real asset. And that asset can pay off in a huge way, even if you feel like you're starting way behind.
All right, on to track 2, AI. And if you think of content creation as the car, well, AI's like strapping a rocket engine to it. It's the ultimate leverage. It lets you multiply what you can do in ways that were, honestly, they were just science fiction a few years ago.
Just try to wrap your head around this number. We're talking about AI cutting down your research and creation time by 90 to 95%. That's not just making things a little bit better, that is a complete game changer. It changes everything about how you work.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, something that used to take you 10 hours of slogging through research, now it takes 1 hour. And in the same amount of time it used to take you to make one piece of content, you can now pump out 10. So you have a choice, right? You can either get 90% of your life back, or you can 10x your output. Either way, you win.
Okay, let's talk about our third and final track, cryptocurrency. And for this one, we've got another personal story. But this one's a cautionary tale. It's about what happens when you have a massive opportunity right in your hands and you let it slip away.
This quote really nails it. He says he didn't realize crypto would become to money what email became to snail mail. Think about that. At first, the internet didn't make sense to a lot of people either. But this isn't just a small change. It's a fundamental shift in how we even think about money itself, just like email completely revolutionized communication.
So, back in 2017, he got his hands on 92 Bitcoin. 92. He had the asset right there. And this was back when a single coin was still under $10,000.
But here's the kicker, and this is the painful part. He says he was smart enough to get it, but he wasn't smart enough to keep it. He just didn't grasp the long-term potential. So when the price started to go up, he did what a lot of people would do. He sold, and not just some of it, he sold all of it.
And today,
What would those 92 Bitcoin be worth? Roughly $10 million. It's just a brutal, staggering lesson in the price you pay when you don't truly understand the asset you're holding. See, it's not enough to just buy something. You have to have the knowledge and the conviction to hold on. And that knowledge, well, it's critical for another reason too.
Because look, wherever there's huge opportunity, there's also huge risk. It's not just about the money you could make, it's about protecting yourself from what you could lose. This is what we're calling the triple threat, the dark side of all this. It's why getting smart about this stuff isn't just about making money, it's about protecting yourself.
And I think this analogy just hits the nail on the head. Learning this stuff is like learning to ride a bike. It's awesome, it's freeing, but it's not enough to just know how to pedal. You also have to learn how to not get hit by a car. And in this new world, the cars are the scammers, the criminals, the bad actors.
And make no mistake, these threats are getting incredibly sophisticated. We're talking about AI cloning your voice, cloning you in a video. We're talking about fake social media profiles that have millions of views pretending to be people you trust. It's just a constant barrage of phishing attempts trying to get your info. Just being aware of this stuff is your first and best line of defense.
And here's a pretty heavy claim. The argument is that these big tech companies, by focusing so much on their quarterly user numbers instead of aggressively taking down scam accounts, are basically partners with the criminals. He says they are assisting criminals in stealing from you. That's a powerful statement. So, let's bring this all together. What's the bottom line? It's that we're in a race against time. This new world is changing so fast that the biggest risk you can take isn't making a mistake. The biggest risk is doing nothing at all.
This statement just really drives it home. Everything you've learned by the time you graduate is only useful in a world that no longer exists. That old idea of learning one skill and coasting for 40 years, it's gone. It's over. By the time you get out of a 4-year program, the world you were training for might have already disappeared. Learning has to be a continuous thing now. It's not a choice anymore. It's a survival skill.
And I want to leave you with this final thought, because it's so simple but so powerful. 10 years from now is going to arrive whether you do something about this or not. The time is going to pass anyway. So the only real question is, where will you be in 10 years? You might as well start. You might as well do it.